Really focusing on them halfway through the second quarter.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
All righty. That was Kyle Shanahan talking about the Green Bay Packers. Think he was trying to stick it in there?
Nah, he was 27-0. I'm sure he was like, yeah, I think we know who we're playing, guys. Man. Steiny, I can't believe you're perplexed at this spread. Because Green Bay, a good story, and again, they got a chance. They're going to show up and try to win and move on. But, 9-8, they snuck in the playoffs. They got another young quarterback, just like the Niners do with Brock Purdy. But I get the 10.
I'm not perplexed by it.
Okay. I thought you were kind of like, why is it so high? Like when we came in this morning.
I actually thought it'd be higher.
Oh, okay.
I thought it would be more. It may end up being more. Yeah. No, my thing is I want to talk to 49er fans about kind of where we are this season and what point we've gotten to. This is a team that lost in the NFC Championship game last year. Brock Purdy gets hurt, and we come into the season, and even if we think the 49ers are the best team in the conference, we're still, got to pay attention to Dallas and the Eagles. We do. They're gone.
Wow.
I don't know that a team. When's the last time anybody can recall a team this favored to just run the table and get to the Super Bowl? I want to make sure we understand it. I'm not saying win the Super Bowl. Not saying win it. I'm saying get there. Like the 49ers, this is the most. This team is head and shoulders better than any of the three other teams in the NFC. And I just want to know, if you're a 49er fan, you like coming into a game that way? I get it. There's a lot of fans who think we have the best team no matter what. Like, kind of like, in a way, like, it's hard to explain. Like
the Durant Warriors.
There are people that still out there think that the Warriors are actually still really, really good. Those are always going to be the people that think, well, we're going to win every game. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the analytical fans that look at the 49ers. It doesn't matter what kind of fan you are of the Niners. Let's say you're a 49er fan that thinks you're going to win every game. You're better than every team. Eagles suck. Cowboys suck. We're going to roll over the Packers. Purdy's great. Okay? If you're that kind of fan, the opposite kind of fan is, oh, boy, I don't know. Hey, every team's important. Yeah. Who knows? Packers look good. We got to be really careful. Da-da-da. It's like no matter what kind of fan you are of the Niners, objectively speaking, you are by far the best team remaining in the NFC. Well, it's not even close.
Before you even play one playoff game.
So, you like going into a game like that? Knowing that you got the best team.
Why wouldn't you?
And, here's the other thing. I ain't taking calls from 49er fans now and say, well, hey, we're having trouble with the running. Shut up. Stop.
Well, they missed Eric Armstead.
All year long.
He should be back, so.
All year long, 49er fans. Okay, I'm with you. You guys are the best team in the NFC by far.
Yeah.
By far.
And if everything holds up, Steiny, they're one game away from whoever they play in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the Ravens. I'm hoping it's that, to prove they're the best team in the NFL. But don't you want it this way, to where on paper we're better than who we're going to play? It's just, and I did this for you, 80% chance of rain, 17% chance of thunderstorm Saturday out here, and then a 17-mile-per-hour winds in the southeast direction. Now, that's weather. That's what you call weather, people. My thing is, Steiny, if the Niners go out and they're the Niners and there's no bloops and blunders, hell yeah, if I'm a Niner fan, I'm feeling good about we should show up, execute, win, and we're looking at hosting the NFC Championship game against Detroit or Tampa Bay, who I believe, again, the Niners are clearly better than both those teams. So it is set up. Jamie Lee Curtis, I'll use it again. I'm sorry. This is perfect.
Okay.
And the two teams we talked about, you just said it all year about that foe that might be a threat. They both lost and got embarrassed, with that being Dallas and Philly. You couldn't ask for it,
Well, but there's the other side of it.
Which is
you calling a dynasty before they've ever won a title. So that's if you were a fan, or you were this team's starting a dynasty, Steiny. Well, that's kind of what I mean. If you really feel that way, then if they lose in either of the next 2 weeks, that's cataclysmic.
Oh, no doubt.
All right, so that's what I mean. be careful what you wish for. You're going in as 10.5-point favorites. You're by far the best team in the NFC. We got radio hosts in the Bay saying we have a dynasty.
Brewing.
Okay. Yeah. So
it sounds like you've come over to the side of what I've been trying to say.
No, I'm saying that comes with
that Super Bowl or bust is real when you're this loaded. If you look at the Niners roster, Steiny, they're loaded.
To get to the Super Bowl, yeah. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's.
Well, that Ravens
has nothing to do with the Super Bowl.
On Christmas.
This has to do with the Detroit Lions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, and the 49ers.
I hear you.
It's a joke. Like if they do not
man.
If they don't get to the Super Bowl,
it would be monumental.
How does it happen? What happens for them not to get to the Super Bowl?
Well, let's say Saturday, forget weather. Let's say it's raining. Purdy has an off game, couple fumbles. Calf messed up by the defense, can't stop Aaron Jones, and we see a young stud in Jordan Love.
Say it. It'll be the biggest choke.
Well, it'll be 10 points. No, it would be, good Lord, Steiny, it would be a choke.
I'm out.
I just want to remind people, and I'm talking to myself here, last year's divisional round, which the Niners hosted, Seattle had a lead 16-14 at halftime. And nobody expected that game close. So while I'm fat-mouthing, I'm fat-mouthing Steiny because I've been following this paper trail from Kyle, and I kind of held them to these high standards. They have the ingredients, people, of a dynasty, of staying power. Yeah, they got to go win it. But you're right. They are, I believe, head and shoulders above who's left in the NFC, and their true test may be if Baltimore is there in the AFC, and that may not be Baltimore. So, again, it's 10 for a reason, and if you ask me, partner, I believe the Niners, and I've been consistent, they are the best team in the NFL.
NFL. See, I'm not, that I won't say.
And that's why I was so shocked we didn't do radio Christmas night that the Ravens came in and did what they did. But I believe if the
49ers play the Ravens in the Super Bowl and the Ravens win, it's not an upset. That's why I'm keeping this solely to the NFC. We can't say the 49ers are better than the Ravens. Can we?
Well, again,
can we?
I feel that because the Ravens came in here and not just beat them, kicked their ass.
Exactly. Like, to me,
can they do that again? You know what I mean? It doesn't need to take an ass kicking. Can you win? As far as the Ravens,
I mean, I don't like the Niners are the best team in the NFC.
Like you expect a close game Saturday between these two?
Not really.
Yeah.
No,
it's a playoff game. I get it. I gotta be careful. I didn't expect. I'm gonna be real here. To pull the curtain back. Dallas is not the Niners, but me believing Dallas was maybe up there. I thought Dallas was the Niners to Green Bay. That was a 7.5-point spread. So I thought Green Bay had no effing chance, Steiny, and we saw how that played out.
I mean, the bottom line is, again, the reason I'm keeping it solely to the NFC is if the Kansas City Chiefs make the Super Bowl, you tell me that you don't think they can beat the 49ers?
Evan said that. Or was that Spadoni had me thinking, like, I've kind of looked at the Chiefs like they're dead. They're not.
We'll have 2 weeks to talk about the AFC team. This is just about the NFC teams right now.
Detroit's a good story, too, Steiny. I expect them to handle business against Tampa Bay. Jared Goff, but I know it's about the Packers. And, I mean, Kyle's had LaFleur's number in the playoffs when he's had Aaron Rodgers, so I don't expect anything different. But if you're telling me this young upstart team in Green Bay is going to put out, resistance to the up-team power, all right, I'm here for it. But I just don't know how you stop this Niner offense and defensively how you keep Bosa, Hargrave, and I believe Armstead to be back, those guys from getting and causing hell for young Jordan Love.
David's in Denver. What's up, David? How you doing, man?
Doing solid. How are you guys doing, man?
Hey.
Doing well.
Hey, so you guys, I think normally as a fan, I would go into these games. I don't really like being the heavy favorite. I don't like being the one pumped up. I just feel like that makes me a little bit nervous. I will say for this team, I feel different, and I think why I feel different is because it's the kind of that whole character piece of, like, I think of the guys who are leading this team, and I'm looking specifically at guys like Purdy and even McCaffrey. Like, these are guys who the character pieces that they seem to have with them, I don't see guys like them and even others who are going to let up or who are going to let that stuff get to their head or, like, infiltrate them. I think they're locked in, plain and simple. And I think if we show up and our team's locked in, you're right. There ain't no one else in the NFC who could touch us as long as we come in locked in. And so that's why in this particular sense, I think with other teams in the past, I felt a little bit more nervous of like, oh, man, we're really being billed as like the favorite. But with this one, we are the favorite. And I think that whole character of like these guys being locked in, like what they bring to the table, not even stats-wise, but just that whole character and mindset, like that's why I have utmost confidence in them. I will say, caveat though, you need Bosa to show up.
Bosa, the barbarian.
Businessman Bosa.
Yeah.
My boy, Baltimore Joey, says he doesn't come to play in the big games.
Well, he can change that starting Saturday because he didn't.
It's not a big game. They're 10-point favorite.
If Joey's listening, Steiny, he knows Bosa didn't get a sack last year's playoffs, although and that was 3 games, Dallas, Seattle, and Philly. I just feel like it's Kyle's time. I know it's about the team. They got to execute. Guys like me have called Kyle out because I felt like he should already have a Super Bowl. But Steiny, I'm looking at the landscape, and I just feel like it's his time. It's not just their talent. I just feel like we are going to watch him talk and speak after the Terry Bradshaw or whoever's holding the Super Bowl game. Like, it's his time to punch that ticket, man.
Not John Harbaugh.
Well, he has
not
one
Andy Reid.
No,
to do it
hey,
again.
they're going to do everything they can, and they've both be. Hey, John has one, and Andy's beaten Kyle on the biggest stage.
888-957-9570 is the number. 49ers, prohibitive favorites. I mean, what's the last team that's been, like this would be, and I don't want to put it like this would be an unbelievable non-Super Bowl run if the 49ers couldn't get there with the way things have kind of opened up for them.
Man.
So I'm just wondering if 49er fans, how they're feeling about knowing that it's now expected.
Yeah.
And I know we don't do this often, but yeah, you know what? And I don't assume anything, but you better get to the Super Bowl, right? You better get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's why I keep. Oh, go ahead, Evan.
I was going to say in 2019, the Ravens were home favorites by 10 points against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They lost.
Okay.
Saying it can happen?
Sure, it can happen. And that's the kind of loss
that's
that
when
makes
I was out on Lamar.
a guru say Lamar Jackson is a choke artist.
Yeah.
So
he's fixed that though.
Have they won a playoff game since?
No, he
wait a minute.
He's fixed.
You can't do this.
I can do what the hell I want. If you shut up and let me finish, he's fixed it. He's worked on this
hasn't
game.
won a playoff game since then, but he's not a choker.
He has. He's won a playoff game.
Okay, yeah. So he's not a choker now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know.
What would you do without me?
I don't know.
What would my man do without me?
I don't know. After the last 2 years of coming up short in the NFC Championship game, this team is focused and on a mission. We're eating cheese next week. Okay.
Well, I expect him to.
All right. What about the fact that LaFleur is a pretty good coach, Matt LaFleur?
Yeah, and he's faced Kyle twice, Donnie, and Kyle's had his number. I know you don't have Aaron Rodgers this go-round or Devontae Adams, but I expect the Niners to 2 weeks of rest because they have been hampered. You hope you get Eric Armstead back again. I keep talking about that. He's just a guy. He's a Jag, Armstead. But we saw before the season ended, teams have some success on the ground running against the Niners, and I got to give him credit. He was gone. They missed him. They have him back. We could see all hell break loose Saturday night. I do think one thing that helps the Packers, especially when you're underdog on the road, is if maybe there is some weather. If it is an 80% chance of rain, slow the track down, who knows?
Hey, by the way, coming up in 15 minutes, we're going to start your opportunity to win a Christian McCaffrey jersey. It's going to be your chance to win an autographed Christian McCaffrey jersey, and it's going to start in 15 minutes at 12:30. That's after the next break. Here's what you're going to do. We're going to give you a keyword, and then we want the keyword to be texted to 20357, and that's between 12:30 and 1:30. I'm going to give you a keyword. Also, listen in between the times for the other shows, and you can also win. You can qualify once a week on every single show, so that would give you 11 more chances to qualify. That's coming up at 12:30. By the way, Christian McCaffrey, a full participant at 49ers practice today. So no surprise he'll be playing Saturday. Did we think any differently? 888-957-9570. As a fan of a team, does it make you uneasy at all if you're such a big favorite like the Niners are to get to the Super Bowl? Would you rather, as the boss said, he was talking to Matt Nahegan, he goes, I want to be the team we don't talk about. I want to be the team that I want to be under the radar. Well, Niners aren't under the radar. The Niners are by far the best team in the NFC. Does that come with any added pressure that puts a little concern into you? 888-957-9570 is the number.
I can't believe he said that. Got to talk to him after. How many, outside of the Denver Nuggets, how many teams that are not talked about actually win it all? You know what I mean? And I know it's the NFL. You can go worst to first. We saw Philly do it with Foles a couple years ago. What's my guy, Kurt Warner, come out of nowhere. But, man, Steiny, I think of the 90 Cowboys, the 90 Niners. That NFC Championship was like the Super Bowl. So I want to go into a game like this. I don't want the antagonist to be the actual team we're playing. I want the antagonist to be, my job as a coach is to keep my guys from getting a big head because we're so damn good. And that's why I got to be careful here, but tell me if you feel this. In a sense, Steiny, in the NFC, this is the Kevin Durant Warriors in regard to expectations.
No.
What do you mean?
They're not that good. They're not because in the NFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
I'll give you the NFC.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But the Super Bowl's a totally different game.
No doubt, especially after that ass whooping you just took it home from Baltimore.
Like, there's a chance that the 49ers get to the Super Bowl, play the Chiefs or the Ravens and lose. And all they did was get beat by a better team again. That wouldn't necessarily be a choke.
That would be the third L for the Niners in the Super Bowl in a row. I mean, they lost to the Ravens, John. Then they lost to the fat man, who's skinny now.
Wouldn't it be Shanahan's second?
It would be his third.
Shanahan's been to how many Super
you're right.
Bowls?
Yeah, as far as the Niners are third, but you're right. It would be Shanny's second.
415 from the Comcast Business Text line. It does make me uneasy that the Niners are heavily favored. It also makes me uneasy for anyone to say the Niners are so much better than everyone else.
Wow,
that puts too much pressure to perform well, and we shouldn't put all this pressure on them. Yeah.
Dude.
Come on.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the NFC.
So who's the team? Well, Green Bay.
I could do a segment on. This would be the biggest epic choke job of all ever. I don't care how it happens.
Well, if our boss means what he said, then he would rather be the Packers. Nobody's talking about them.
No,
but you're coming against them.
I think he means he'd rather be the Chiefs.
Oh,
because nobody's really talking about the Chiefs. Nobody's been talking about the Chiefs all year.
Yeah. Who are about to play their first road game in the career of one Patrick Mahomes when they meet Buffalo.
No, you know what? Buffalo's been below the radar most of the season after their tough spot.
You're right.
The teams above the teams that the bottom line is this: the Ravens are favorites in the AFC, not to the degree that the 49ers are in the NFC, but I mean the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills have been below the radar this year compared with the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, but they had some failures, though, Buffalo, during the year because the expectations were so high. Steiny, I got to read this. Good. I'm just so misunderstood, and you're a big part of it, Steiny, but I love you. Guru sounds like, oh, my God. I lost it. I couldn't.
What do you mean?
Help me out.
What happened? I don't know what happened. You were going to read something you lost?
Yeah, I blacked out. Just help me, man.
I'll address it. 650, how the Eagles doing? They're done. But
you think the coach getting fired?
Probably. I mean, that's... You know what's funny is last night I'm watching the Eagles game, and believe it or not, I'm thinking, everyone's saying they quit. You know what? Believe it or not, I put a little bit of a difference between giving up and quitting. Quitting to me is walking off the field. Well, giving up is when you know it's over, but you have to stay out on the field.
The subliminal.
Yeah,
that was the version of, and I felt Dallas did this. Tell me what you and Evan will give me for this, and I'll remember where I was going. That was the equivalent of a baseball team not running the ball out to first base. That's what I felt like Philly was doing. They couldn't walk off, but they could show you.
You know who Philly is? Seriously.
Yeah.
They're the Golden State Warriors. They're not together. They're not as talented as we think. They don't really get along. And you know what? That performance to me last night by the Eagles.
But it started 5 weeks ago. They lost to the Giants.
And the Warriors' performance has started more than that. Yes, absolutely. I'm giving it all to you. And that was the crescendo last night. You cannot watch that Philadelphia Eagles game and just say, lost a tough one. We'll get them next year. No, that's the kind of loss where you're like, holy hell, this was a total and epic
something's
collapse.
Going on.
Yeah,
okay.
I expect stuff to happen.
I'm in your office. Let me ask you this. Did you see Jalen Hurts after the game? A reporter said, you think Sirianni's going to get fired? Something to that effect. And he said, I didn't know he was going anywhere. And people took that as, Jalen Hurts didn't back up Sirianni. I took it as him saying, I'm asking you how you took it. What was he supposed to say? He said, I didn't know he was going anywhere, but people took that as, that wasn't a vote of confidence.
Who cares? Like, they lost 6 of their last 7 games. It was the biggest collapse in the NFL. They were 10-1. It's like, I don't care what Jalen Hurts thinks about the coach. Like, that'll be taken care of after he says whatever he says. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, what do you think of Sirianni? But like, they're done. Like, you can't bring that team back. Man. You can't. Like, that, to me, and I know you're going to say, well, that's why you couldn't bring the Warriors back. But you did. You were 44-38 last year. You showed no sign.
But they hadn't had their 10-1 spell.
That's why it was even less convincing. That's why to me it was even less convincing. The Warriors never put a 10-1 stretch together. But you brought it back. Like, I get why the Eagles ran it back. Okay, so now they ran it back, and it was a monumental.
For 11 weeks, it was great.
Right, yeah. And it was a monumental flame out. So you got it. I guarantee you they're not going to run it back. Why would they? Like, that loss shows me there are bigger issues than just we lost. Like, I think there are times you lose in the playoffs, you're losing the playoffs.
But when you got stuff going on behind closed doors,
right?
Which your bigger point is, you ain't out running that. That will be the death of you.
Right. And if we look at the Golden State Warriors and the way they've played this regular season, it's not going to be solved by Andrew Wiggins turning around his play. That's what I mean. The Eagles, they got to make some big, bold moves. And to me, so do the Warriors. And I get it. The Eagles never won a title.
Oh, here, I found this, Donnie. First NorCal Credit Union YouTube chat, John and Teen. Guru sounds like Dylan Brooks with all the dynasty talk. Guys, all I'm saying is the ingredients are there for this team to be around for a long while. And I thought maybe that was coming to a head. But the fact that they've got Brock Purdy, if he is who we think he is, Steiny, here I'm going you.
Does Detroit have it?
Yeah.
Do Detroit's have the elements for a dynasty?
No.
Why not?
Because they don't have a defense. Their defense is raggedy. Been playing better, but they don't got what the Niners have. And the Niners got a defense almost as good as their offense. They are set up for the future. I know it's Operation Green Bay week, but I'm still in one of your lines. Even if something fluke were to happen and they didn't get to the Super Bowl, let me tell you next year who's going to be a problem. It's going to be the Niners. And that's why we watch. We got to see them earn it. But I'm just telling you, they're loaded